Most threat modeling focuses on identifying risks, but real threat modeling is about understanding how those risks move through your system. And that's where most people get it wrong, because they look at systems as static, when in reality systems are constantly evolving, connecting and changing. And if you don't understand how risk moves, you won't see where it actually matters. Let's start with a system that looks secure. A user logs in, interacts with an application which connects to an API and stores data in a database. Everything looks clean, everything behaves exactly as designed, and on paper, this system looks secure. But to understand risk properly, we need to look at systems differently. Every system can be broken down into three things: entry, movement, and impact. This is how attackers think, not in components, but in paths. Entry is where access begins. This could be a login, an API endpoint, or an integration point. And most systems have far more entry points than people realize. Every connection, every integration is a potential way in. But getting in is only the first step. What matters next is movement. Once inside, how far can something go? Can it move between services, call other APIs, or access data it shouldn't? This is where most systems become vulnerable. And finally, impact. What can actually be reached? Sensitive data, admin access, critical systems. Because risk isn't just about entry, it's about how far that access can spread and what it can ultimately affect. So when you're threat modeling, you're not just asking what could go wrong, you're asking where something can get in, where it can move, and what it can reach. The first thing to look for is uncontrolled entry. Weak authentication, exposed APIs, public endpoints that shouldn't be public. These are the places where access begins. The second is unrestricted movement. Once something is inside, can it move freely? Are there controls in place, or can it just flow from system to system without resistance? And the third is impact. What happens if those paths are followed? Can they reach sensitive data or privileged systems? Because this is where small issues become serious problems. Attackers don't follow your design. They don't care how the system is supposed to work. They follow what's possible. They look for gaps, weak connections, and assumptions that were never tested. And this is where it gets interesting. Because one issue rarely breaks a system, but multiple small issues chained together absolutely do. One path becomes two, two become three, and suddenly there's a complete route through your system. This is how risk actually appears. Not all at once, but over time. One integration, one exception, one shortcut, until eventually it's everywhere. And the reason people miss this is because threat modeling became a checklist. Something to complete instead of something to think through. So, how do you stop this? You don't try to eliminate every risk. You control how far it can go. First, reduce entry. Limit access, strengthen authentication, and reduce exposed surfaces. Second, limit movement. Segmentation, least privilege, and isolation. Even if something gets in, it shouldn't be able to go far. And third, limit impact. Protect data, monitor access, and detect abnormal behavior. Because even if something reaches a system, the damage should be contained. In real environments, systems evolve, integrations grow, and controls drift. And that's why this matters. Now look at the same system again, not as components, but as flows. Not as design, but as behavior. Threat modeling isn't about drawing systems, it's about understanding how they break. And if you don't model the threats, someone else will. You don't eliminate risk, you manage its movement. And that's how you turn complexity into control. Follow CyberMigos for more insights. Cybersecurity made simple.